So, if you're constantly struggling to focus, I want you to know something right up front. It's not a personal failing. It's really a battle for your brain's neurochemistry. And in this explainer, we're going to show you how to win that battle by mastering your dopamine.
Oh man, we have all been there, right? You know exactly what you need to do, but your brain just will not cooperate. You try to buckle down, but that pull of a distraction, it feels almost magnetic. It's so frustrating, and it's easy to feel like it's your fault.
But here's the most crucial point to get. This isn't about a lack of willpower, and it's definitely not about being lazy. What you're experiencing is a biological process, a literal tug-of-war happening inside your own head.
Okay, so let's dive into this. The very first thing you need to understand is that your brain isn't broken. Not at all. It's actually working perfectly. It's just operating in an environment it was never, ever designed for. Just think about it from your brain's perspective for a second. Writing that big report? Sure, there's a reward there, eventually. But checking that little red notification on your phone, that's an instant hit. Your brain is wired for efficiency, and it sees those tiny, easy rewards as the best deal on the table. So, let's get into the mechanics of what we can call the dopamine hijack. What is actually going on inside your skull when you choose to scroll instead of focusing on your work?
Okay, this is probably the biggest mistake we all make about dopamine. We tend to think of it as the pleasure chemical, but that's not really the full picture. It's much more accurate to call it the chemical of motivation and anticipation. It's the thing that drives you to seek the reward, not just enjoy the reward once you get it.
And this explains perfectly why our phones are so addictive. They work just like a slot machine. It's called a variable reward schedule. You pull the lever, by refreshing your feed, and you have no idea what you're going to get. That unpredictability is what keeps your brain completely hooked on the anticipation of what might come next. Now, all this constant stimulation has a really dangerous side effect. It actually lowers your dopamine baseline. So imagine you have a thermostat for motivation. When you're constantly blasting it with high dopamine activities like social media, that thermostat drops. And now normal focused work feels unbearably boring because it just can't compete with those highs. So, now that we kind of get the mechanism behind all this, let's identify the specific culprits in our daily lives, the things that are actively sabotaging our ability to concentrate. What do you look at this? This research is wild. Just the presence of your phone, I'm talking face down, on silent, sitting on your desk, can reduce your available brain power by up to 20%. Your brain is literally using up precious mental resources just to not pick it up. And what about those quick checks? I'll just look at this one email. Well, every single time you switch your attention, it takes an average of 23 minutes for your brain to fully get back on track with the original task. So that 30-second distraction just cost you nearly half an hour of good focus.
This number is just staggering. After just one single night of bad sleep, your capacity for focus can plummet by a whopping 40%. Sleep is completely non-negotiable. It's when your brain cleans house and resets your entire neurochemical system, and that includes your dopamine receptors.
And on top of all that, chronic stress basically shuts down the part of your brain you need for planning and focus. And if the first thing you do when you wake up is grab your phone, you've already spent your best dopamine for the day on cheap thrills, leaving you with nothing in the tank for the work that actually matters. Okay, that was the bad news. I know. But here's the good news. You can absolutely fight back. This is not a permanent state. So let's get into the battle plan for taking back your focus. This is one of the most powerful strategies, period. For the first hour, hour and a half of your day, do not touch your phone. Your brain is in this perfect state for focus. Use that time for your deep work. This literally trains your brain to connect effort with reward, not just cheap stimulation.
The strategy here is really simple. You have to create friction. You have to make it harder to get distracted. Put your phone in another room. Use a website blocker. Delete the apps. Every single extra step you add creates this little buffer, and that gives your rational brain a chance to jump in and say, nope, we're focusing right now.
You actually need to let yourself get bored. Seriously, it helps reset your dopamine baseline, which makes normal work feel interesting again. And hey, don't try to go from 0 to a 4-hour deep work marathon. Start with just 25-minute blocks and build up from there. Even a simple ritual like making a cup of tea can signal to your brain that it's time to lock in. And you can support all of this with your biology. Things like getting morning sunlight, exercising, eating protein, even taking a cold shower.
These can all naturally and sustainably elevate your dopamine levels, making it easier to feel motivated all day. And of course, protect that sleep.
Now, I know this can feel like a lot to take in, but you don't have to do it all at once. The key, the real secret, is to just start, and to start small.
This right here, this is the core idea of this whole explainer. I want this to really sink in. The goal isn't to just brute force your attention. The goal is to retrain your brain so it doesn't need that constant high-level stimulation just to feel engaged.
And remember, your struggle is real. You are fighting against algorithms and apps that were designed by armies of engineers specifically to capture your attention. But understanding your own neurochemistry, well, that's your superpower. It gives you the ability to redesign your world to serve your goals, not theirs.
So I'm going to leave you with this question. Don't try to overhaul your entire life tomorrow. Just pick one thing. Maybe it's putting your phone in another room for just one work session. Maybe it's skipping social media for the first hour of your day. What is the one small step you're going to take?
Because your ability to focus hasn't vanished. It's just been hijacked and pointed in the wrong direction. Now you have the map. It's time to take it back.